Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how you can farm Dragon Stones right now for part 2. With the drop of the part 2 banners, I'm sure people are scrambling for Dragon Stones. We'll go through every current method and some tips and tricks, starting with the Trading in the Clouds event. If you haven't been farming this, you probably should. Not only is it great for link leveling, but the proof of masteries that you get can be exchanged at the Bubba Shop for 20 Dragon Stones. And honestly, they are very easy to get, literally just requiring you to expend stamina. So that's your first point of call, and like I mentioned, should be obviously your place to begin, because it's really quite easy. There's also the Dragon Ore missions. These refresh every Wednesday. They will have recently refreshed, and some players may not have finished them. Completing them will net you 5 Dragon Stones only, but it is still something. It's 1/10 of a multi. And obviously I highly suggest that you do those as well, which you'll easily smash out while you're clearing the rest of this content. In terms of the other current content, a lot of the stones are sitting in challenge content. But there is some easy to get stones sitting in the story events. Not only Training in the Clouds, but all of the Super Warriors, the Tale of Super Warriors, DBZ, Dragon Ball GT, etc. All of these have amazing amounts of stones. They all recently got updated with 4 more stages, so if you haven't done those, do them, and missions which will give you stones as well. So each stage could give you up to 10 stones if you haven't done them already, and you have to do them anyway for the missions for part 3 and your summon tickets, so there's no reason not to. Growth wise, there's nothing too crazy here. Obviously do any new growth event you see to get the completion stones, but really there's nothing crazy here. Moving on, there's a new Dokkan Event stage for the Vegeta unit. Completing this stage will net you 2 Dragon Stones, which obviously again, pretty helpful. So would highly suggest you do that. 2 stones, doesn't sound like much, but it all adds up. Then the challenge contents, where you're going to find a ton of those stones. Not only did we get a new Dokkan Thrilling Battle recently, but we also got a ton of Blue Zone, Supreme Magnificent Battle stages, Battle Hardened Formidable Foe stages, Red Zone stages, Red Zone mission stages, Anni stages, and also, of course, Dokkan Chronicle stages. Just a word on Dokkan Chronicles, it's not the best source of stones, as outside of the initial 1 stone completion and initial 15 stones you can exchange your tickets for, you don't get a lot of stones. Like, there's no missions and additional completion. So yeah, it's not the one you should probably farm the most. Push Supreme Magnificent Battle, push Battle Hardened Foes, push Red Zone. All of those are going to be great for you, and they're going to net you a ton of stones. Really, there's like 120 stones there. It's probably one of your main avenues of stones. It will be challenging for new players, but if you've been picking up the units from the first banner and now the second banner, you should be able to make it. So that kind of covers the new existing content, of course. There were some EZAs that were announced. So we did get EZAs for the Super Saiyan Goku and the Final Form Frieza. Those are obviously both EZAs I suggest you do, but they can be quite challenging for new players. But they will net you 30 stones each. So obviously that's also something that you probably want to take a look at. Like I said, it can be challenging. So I do understand if players struggle with them, but you should be taking a look and should be trying to get it done. Now, in terms of where else you can get stones. So if I've done all that call, where should I be looking? Or call, I'm a new player, I can't do that content, it's too hard for me. Let's take a look at some of your other options. So obviously, story mode, if you're new, if you haven't played in a while, there's been regular updates to the quest mode. Tons of stones here, do it. DB story events likewise, the new section. Not only does it have new events, but it has a ton of revamped old events players should be doing to grab stones. Both the stages and the missions, there's a lot of stones here as well. Not only that, but if we take a look at the Portal of Memories, there is a ton of stones here as well. Players will be picking up keys quite regularly. You can get keys by exchanging the Bubba Shop with a lot of items, and you can use these to complete older events that you haven't done to net yourself stones as well. But that's not all. Those are the easy avenues. Now let's talk about Dokkan Events. There are over 200 Dokkan Events, and each of them has at the very least 2 difficulties. By completing these, you can earn well up to, at the very least, 400 stones and plenty more, honestly speaking. In terms of Extreme Z battles, likewise, even if you can't complete an Extreme Z battle, just using your strongest team and clearing stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. of every single Extreme Z battle will net you hundreds of stones and Kais. So it's not really a waste. Push as far as you can. Obviously, some are easier than others, some will be easy, some you may even be able to win with your super strong teams, regardless. But even if you can finish 1 or 2, then you should be good to go, and you should be able to pretty much net out quite a few stones. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stones available. Highly suggest players push to grab as many stones as possible. Challenge events likewise net you a ton of stones. Things like the punching bag event, things like Dragon Ball Rush, things like Dragon Ball History are all great events that you can use to grab lots and lots of stones. So I highly suggest that you go do these events and grind as many stones as possible, because ultimately at the end of the day, these banners are going to be great, part 1 banners are great, and you want to get as much as possible.